but my guest also is pretty well known for last week. So, hey, oh my gosh, we're live, everybody. Welcome to Keto Chat Live. Wait, where's my notes? That's how we always start out. That's my joke, is that like, it's like I push the button to go live. So it's not like it's a surprise to me, but I always start like, oh my gosh, we're live, everybody. So, have you had some success on keto, but you're starting to regain weight? Have you fallen off keto completely? Sadly, at a higher weight than when you started? Do you worry that you'll never be able to lose weight and actually keep it off? So if so, you're in the right place. Today's show is for you. Interactive too, so I can see we've got people watching. But go ahead and comment. That lets us know who's there, and interactive show we've got here. So welcome everyone to Keto Chat Live. I'm your host, Carol Freeman. I've got some fancy degrees in nutrition and psychology and all that kind of stuff. But probably more interesting is our guest co-host today, very special guest, Jim Kellner, my friend. Jim, give us a quick intro of you for you.
I'm hypnotist Jim Kellner. I'm a hypnotist and aspiring fitness model. So you need
woohoo! And damn, he's pretty. That's his catchphrase. So those of you viewing, you can see on his cup there. So not so subtle product endorsement or.
I was going to get a big picture made, put on the back.
Right? Yeah. So in all surrounding, on your mic and everything as well. So yeah,
missed opportunity. Good idea.
Well, thanks for being the guest co-host today. Hopefully we'll have lots of fun and you enjoy yourself as much as our audience enjoys. But you're new to the show, so just for fun, I always have my guest co-host read the medical disclaimer because we don't want to get in trouble with anybody in the world. So he's got a script here for y'all. So let's take it away.
This show is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not medical advice nor intended to diagnose, treat, cure any conditions. If you have any medical condition, illness, disease, or taking any medications, please take more. And seriously, if you have any questions or concerns related to your specific medical conditions, contact Carol because she's a doctor. No. Contact your actual medical professional, whoever that is.
Yes. Thank you so much. Now we're covered. And then if we need to refer back to that, any questions, we've got that in the beginning there as well. So many people getting canceled on all the different platforms for sharing information. So we're just having fun sharing information today. We're not telling you what to do or anything like that. For the audience though, just a little quiz to start us out. I'm going to refer back to this as well. So true or false? Reaching your weight loss goal is the number one contributor that makes it so that people can just maintain their motivation to keep the weight off. So give me a T or an F, true or false, in the comments there, and we'll just keep that one going for a while here. But let's get to know Jim a little bit better. Well, first, okay, I got to brag a little bit because this podcast, Keto Chat Live, the one you're listening to or watching right now, we are still trending. We're in 2 countries and we're in the top 100 nutrition podcasts in 2 different countries. Do you know, Jim? It's on the notes. You could cheat and look, but
that's awesome. That's amazing. That's
in Poland and Greece. And I just love the irony of, keto's known for being a high fat diet, low carb. And here we are trending in Greece. Like it's been a couple months now that we're in the top 100 there. So
pretty, but they got the Mediterranean diet there in Greece.
Yes.
So crazy, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
And then Poland,
well,
I thought that
Mediterranean actually is what they actually eat there is just mostly whole fresh foods that grown locally. Oh, Susan's here. Hi, Jim. She's one of our regulars. She's out in Chicago. So thanks for letting us know. Hi, Susan. Good to see you again. All right. So fun. We're trending still. Chart topping. Oh, we got a thumbs up. My goal is always to get all the emotional reactions. Except the angry face. I don't want the angry face, but maybe it depends on the topic. But another announcement. I'm really excited, you all. Oh, I should make a banner for this here. So I have a new way that a new texting number that you all that are watching, listening, you can join in and participate, have direct access to me. So I'm going to put it on the screen here. I've got it memorized. Cool for me, huh? Is text me right now, 602-704-5309. Do you reckon this is a 5309? I didn't pick this number, but
8675. Yeah.
8675309. Right.
Call me Jenny.
Jenny.
Or
I'm
Jenny.
not Jenny. I'm Carol, but randomly assigned number. I picked my area code. That's a Arizona area code. But that's a community text number, and it's a way that you can get direct access to me. Join in. And join my community. So what I'll be sending out through that is text messages for event notifications. So for example, if we're eventually we're going to have this Keto Chat live touring the country. And so whenever we're going to be live in your city, I'll be able to send you a notification. Email these days, only about 7% of the people that I send emails to ever even open them. So this is a way that we can actually get direct contact. And this number comes directly to me. I'm the only one that answers that. So if you text me, you're going to get straight to me. And let's see, what are the other benefits? Why would people want to join my texting thing? Random tips. So for example, one of the trackers that I use sent out an update for their feature. So I sent that out to my people on there. And so they could be in the know. So random tips, articles, things that I find, but also just notifications of when I'm going to be in your city, and also for a way for you to ask me questions. And we've got Linda from, is that Charles, South Carolina? What's the Chaz part? Is the city named Chaz, South Carolina? I think Linda was here last week. So welcome back, Linda. And join my text community there. So, all right, enough of that. I'll pop it up again later. So let's get to know our guest co-host a little bit more. So Jim, we've been friends for 5, 6, 7 years, maybe something like that.
Yeah, long time.
Ironically, so I'm right now in Arizona, and Jim, you're in the Seattle area, right?
Yeah.
But the first time we met, I lived in Seattle and Jim lived in Arizona.
Yeah.
Very early, one of my Keto Chat interviews for YouTube, I interviewed you, and that was actually our first meeting. Was I can't even remember how the connection happened, but we met in person at your office down there, and that was the first interview. So share with us a little bit more about who's Jim.
Well, I wanted to say one thing is, you talked about the Whole Foods in Greece and stuff. It's, as I'm thinking about it though, like every time they do one of these studies and they show all these countries that are so much healthier, like the Okinawan, kind of a diet and all this stuff, it's always places where they're eating whole foods, right? They're not going to fast food. They're not eating in restaurants all the time. They're eating a lot of stuff at home. So it kind of skews the results, I think, sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember how we met either. I used to just go through and just add people on Facebook because that's a great way to get to know people and get them to come out to comedy shows and that kind of stuff. And we probably had a mutual friend somewhere. And, so when I first met Carol, when she came down in person, we chatted. I still remember, when we talked, and you were talking about this keto thing, and I was doing paleo at the time. And I was like, not completely successfully, because I told you I had a potato addiction.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was eating hash browns like every single day, and I couldn't stop. I love hash browns. And it's kind of the funny thing about that too is, I remember at the time telling my roommate, I was like, I don't understand, the directions to make hash browns say use like 2 tablespoons of oil, and I put 2 tablespoons and it's not nearly enough. And I'm having to put a ton. And she goes, that's because you're eating like 4 servings of hash browns. And I'd like peel like 4 or 5 potatoes and just make a thick thing of hash browns. But yeah, and so the great thing, what you said to me, and it was a great thing, is I said, I could never give up the hash browns. And you said, could you do it for 30 days? And I was like, oh, I could probably do 30 days. And wow, I did. And I hardly ever eat hash browns now. So there you go.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. So I changed your life.
Isn't it funny? Just those simple questions can.
Yeah. Oh, so Linda Charles. Okay, so Chaz is short for Charleston. Okay, thanks for that. And then Douglas is actually from Seattle. I know him. He's saying Chaz is a Seattle thing. I think it's over. I don't know if that's still a thing or not. Maybe
Over,
Jim
yeah,
can fill us in on that. But your story too, though, I remember I didn't know you back then, but you used to be much heavier and lost a lot of weight yourself. So would you mind sharing a little bit more about that journey?
Yeah, I'd gotten up. So the highest I was ever weighed at, and that's what I always like to say that, because, when you're really heavy, you don't like to get weighed. I didn't have a scale, didn't want a scale. Every time the doctor would say, "Hey, let's weigh you," I'm like, let's do it next time. I'm probably going to lose a few pounds by the next time. So
I love the optimism. That's great.
And so I was topped out at 270 as far as I know, but I in looking at pictures, I think I was probably closer to like 290.
Okay.
Maybe even 300. I just looked at a picture from a lot way back. And it was funny. I can still remember, I went to this, and actually the doctor that I was seeing at the time, because I have type 2 diabetes, was Dr. Ted Naiman.
Oh,
yeah. He had
a full circle here.
Yeah. He's got a practice, or did have, I don't know if he still does, probably doesn't.
Yep.
He's big and famous now. He just still does. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he would, so I would go out there about every 3 months. When you got diabetes, you got to go checked a lot. And he told me one time, he goes, "Mr. Kellner, you can't take any more insulin because you just, you're at the top end," or the oral medications. Maybe it's oral medication. I don't remember what it was. And he goes, and this is what he told me. He told me this. I mean, we're talking, got to be 15 years ago now, 12, 15 years ago. He said, if you just ate bacon and eggs, if you just had bacon and eggs for breakfast, and just ate that, you'd do great. And of course, I was fat phobic, I can't do that. And the nurse was like, "Oh my God, no, maybe not bacon and eggs." And oddly, then we come to find out that really is the best way. Although he's more just high protein now, but still. But then the thing that the nurse did for me that really changed my life, and if you're listening right now, this can really change your life. And it's the thing that I tell people all the time. Every time I went there, she would say, and her name was Timmy. So remember, she said, "Could you?" She goes, "Have you done any exercise?" And of course, I'm like, "No. But I'm going to start running 3 times a week." And she's like, she goes, "What if you just started with a 5-minute walk?" And I was like, a walk's not going to make any difference. It won't burn any calories. I'm going to go run. Yeah. She's trying not to, burst my bubble, but she's going, we'd been through this, several times already, and I still hadn't started running. And she said, if you could just start with a 5-minute walk. And one day I'm just sitting there and I said, you know what? I'm just going to try. I'm going to go for a 5-minute walk. And you know what? That 5-minute walk felt like 2 hours. It sucked. And I didn't even have we didn't have podcasts so much back then or anything. So it was boring, and it was 5 minutes, it was around the block. And but I mean, really, it was crazy. That's really what made the difference was scaling back, because then within literally a few months, I was able to run around Green Lake, which is like 3 miles long or something. And the weight just started coming off. In fact, I used to make a joke about this during my show, but I don't do it anymore because people cringe. But I was like, I took off 20 pounds like super fast, so fast I thought maybe I had cancer. And so, and I remember my mom telling me,
we got the shock reaction for that one.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, you can't say that." I'm like, "No, but it was true. I really thought I was sick." And my mom was going, "You need to go see the doctor and see if something's wrong." And I'm like, "Let's get another 20 pounds and then I'll go get checked." And I started using hypnosis, and then I just started making other small changes, really small changes. I just stopped eating out. That was the first thing I did as far as food goes, eating whole foods. And then I started using hypnosis, and I learned hypnosis and started helping other people with hypnosis, and here we are today.
Excellent. You also just I'll brag on you a little bit. You've also done a TED Talk, right?
I have indeed.
Tell us about that.
It's a TedX. If you can't be hypnotized, you lose, for Grand Canyon University. If you have questions about hypnosis, if you think it's bull crap or you just interested in it, go check it out, really, because I break it down for you. I let you know the reality of it. The problem with hypnosis is because it works so amazingly well in certain conditions, people think it must not be real. And that's only, and what I'm talking about specifically is stage shows. we do a stage show and I can make somebody think they're Taylor Swift for an hour, right? So somebody sitting in the audience and maybe you're watching right now going, you could never make me think I'm Taylor Swift for an hour. That's probably true, but I could probably help you do something more realistic for you, something more that's not quite as dramatic. It takes a certain kind of person to be able to get in that place where they can become Taylor Swift or jump up and down and all that stuff for now. We got to,
yeah, I think Douglas is, he wants to be Taylor Swift. So maybe that's why he's laughing there. So
well, sign up. We'll make you Taylor Swift on the count of 3.
Cool.
So
go ahead.
So yeah, the TEDx, I guess that was about it. But there's one of the things that kills me is that we're lumped in with all these other kind of one does want to be Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Everybody thinks that hypnosis is some kind of mystical, magical type thing. And I remember I had a client one time, a consultation. She goes, "I'd feel a lot better about signing up with you if there was just any research to back it up." And I'm like, there's so much research. Like Harvard and Stanford have been researching for years. So check it out. Go get yourself some hypnosis.
Just some small little schools, right?
Yeah. In junior college, right? I think that Stanford Junior College. Harvard
Online School of Certificates or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you do stage hypnosis like comedy shows, and then you also do work one-on-one with clients for like I'll put it in quotes, real hypnosis, like therapeutic hypnosis as well. Yeah. So you get to do all the different angles of what hypnosis can provide, both entertainment and information. Medical disclaimer.
Right. Help you to achieve your goals, whatever those goals are.
Yes. Yeah. So I find some of you don't know, I have a certificate in clinical hypnotherapy. I don't do that work anymore with clients one-on-one. It influences how I do coach my clients. And if people need a little more intensive work, then I'll refer them to somebody like Jim. I know I had one of my clients that was working with you for a while that would just loved it. So, and it just enhances change that you want to make. It can, work on the level, habits and things like that just seem really stuck for you. Hypnosis is really great at, I think of it as a shortcut to therapy. I have a master's degree in basically counseling therapy. And during my training, I was like, how does this help people? Like every experience I ever had with having a therapy session was like, okay, you spend like 50 minutes pouring your guts out. By the end, you're bawling your eyes out. And then it's like, sorry, time's up. Come back next week.
Right.
And felt miserable and horrible. And I'm like, how is this helping me? I just feel so drained. And then during my training, I was like, I want to find some other tool to help people be able to make change without having to go to 10 years of therapy and never feeling like they've done anything. And so during one of my summers during school, I went and did an intensive hypnotherapy training in the Seattle area that was geared towards psychologists. So it was meant to be an application for that you could do along with counseling and therapy and stuff. And so that I found so much more exciting because you can do very deep work and you can bookend it at the end of a session with telling people, and now you're going to wake up and feel happy and healthy and whole and complete. And you literally will feel like that when you wake up. So you can have a even deeper level of transformation, awareness, change without the pain, I feel like, of regular therapies. So I'm a huge fan. Obviously, I wouldn't have Jim here if I wasn't a big fan, but so I highly recommend it for anybody who's, you've got something that's stuck, that you just can't figure out how consciously to change, work at the level of the other parts of your brain. Do you want to just talk just for a moment too, then, about like the misconceptions about like how it's this magical state versus like just a natural human state of consciousness?
Yeah. And I think that, I guess apparently there's going to be there's a movie coming out about hypnosis too. Another one of these. Oh yeah. Probably a thriller.
Like Shallow Hal or something. Or
I think it's more of a thriller type thing. One of those, like a horror movie type thing again. So we're going to go through this BS again. What I always tell people is that I think of like hypnotherapy as somewhat like espionage. You know, they don't make a movie about what true espionage is like because it would be boring, right? It's just, right. They don't make a true movie about hypnotherapy because it would be boring. It would just be me sitting in an office going, that's right, you're relaxing more and you're starting to love yourself and feel better about yourself. Nobody wants to watch that, right? So yeah, it's and part of the problem is really stage shows. And so I know there's a lot of hypnotherapists that hate us stage hypnotists because we are making it seem like hypnosis is some kind of magical, fantastic thing. And but on the other hand, it's the way that most people find out about hypnosis. So we have the two sides of it. I'll tell you one of the. I just had this great example, and you're getting a preview. I'm going to do a video about this myself, but we'll do it first here on Keto Carol. I was thinking about this. So after a show, and this is kind of how I know hypnosis actually does work, because I mean, we know it therapeutically. It makes all kinds of changes. But so I do a show, and it was an adult show, and so one of the things that I do is I actually make somebody say, "Damn, I'm pretty." Every time I say my name, you stand up and shout, "Damn, I'm pretty." Also, for an adult show, I might make a man lose a very important thing on his body. And so
I've seen this. I've seen your show a couple of times. Yeah.
So
it's very funny.
I don't do it at the corporate shows, but at the adult shows, comedy clubs, maybe. And so I'm working with this. I'm doing the adult show, and it was freaking crazy too. There was this woman that was like in her 70s. She told me afterwards, she goes, "I'm a great grandmother. I can't believe I did that." But some of the stuff she was doing. But so I told this guy, I told him, you're, every time I say my name, you'll stand up and shout, "Damn, I'm pretty." He didn't do it. I was like, what the heck? So I tried a couple times, but he did lose that important part of him.
Okay.
And so this is how I know it's real, because if he was faking, why wouldn't he just fake all of it?
Right. Yeah.
In fact, you'd think he'd be more likely to fake "Damn, I'm pretty" than a missing whatever. And so actually a hypnotherapist came up afterwards that was there, and she asked me, she goes, somebody was asking me, do you think he was really hypnotized? I'm like, yeah, because that's one of the reasons I really think he was hypnotized. He looked like he was, but he wasn't responding to everything. If somebody's going to fake it, because I've had people try to fake it, and they just do everything, and they're like overboard with it. And so them, you can cut them right away. But, he would not say "Damn, I'm pretty," but he did lose something.
Maybe that word was, who knows why, right? Like maybe that word was like, that's a swear word, or he didn't want to say he was pretty, but
yeah, you never know why, and I mean, sometimes it's just, I didn't do the command correctly, or he's something about that just doesn't, but something else. So, again, this is the bad thing about hypnosis, because people see a stage show and they're sitting out there, and believe me, I'm one of you that would go, "You can't make me be Taylor Swift. I will not stand up on stage and do stupid, ridiculous things. That's not who I am. I don't want to do that. If I'm on stage, I'm in control." And so I get that. But just because you can't be hypnotized on stage to think you're Taylor Swift doesn't mean you can't be hypnotized to, quit smoking or lose weight or whatever. And like you said,
Douglas is asking, so his wife is Leslie. I know them. So Leslie wants to know if hypnosis can help Douglas stop reading politics, stop eating constantly, or lessen his cursing and anger. Leslie's got a long list of husband up leveling things she's looking for, right?
Yeah, no kidding. What might be easier is just to make Leslie think that you're not doing all those things. So
hypnotize Leslie to not recognize those things.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, you were saying too, and I kind of got off topic with that because I get excited about that story about the guy. It really is a natural state, and every single person experiences what we call hypnosis. We've just put a label on it. It's that twilight feel. It's that when you're first awake and when you're falling asleep, when you start daydreaming, when you're watching, when Leslie is watching her favorite TV show, and Douglas is over there trying to talk to her about politics, and she doesn't hear a word he's saying. Yeah, well, that's marriage, but it's also hypnosis. You're zoned out.
Douglas think that's a perfect plan to just work on Leslie instead of him. So
right.
it's much easier for Douglas then too. So
And it's half as much. So
yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you're here, Jim. Thanks for sharing. We'll keep asking questions, viewers, and look at that. We've got the thumbs up, we've got the laughy and the wowie what are those emojis?
Yeah.
Reactions, whatever. So those are all Facebook reactions. So that's I like to I want the full experience of emotions when people watch this show. I want them to like something. I want them to laugh. I want them to be wowed.
I want them to cry.
Yes.
I want them to cry.
You want them to cry.
I want them to cry.
Sometimes I want people to get angry about certain things in the world too. So we'll see if we can get all those too. So
yeah.
Well, up
Let's
next.
get angry about keto products.
No, yeah. Well, that was a couple weeks ago. We talked about that. Yeah. That's definitely a good one to get angry about, is all those stuff that's coming on the market now that just too tasty and just as easy to overeat as the original version of it. So, moving on to our news segment of the day. I have various email subscriptions, different people that send really great stuff out. So this one, really cool study that looked at very low carb diet, which is code for keto. So when you do very low carb, that's what a keto diet is. How a very low carb diet enhances human T cell immunity. There's some big words in here. Through immunometabolic reprogramming. Okay, what the heck is that? I'm actually gonna the email that I got breaks this down. So personally, I'm gonna bring that up just so I can cheat and go through the notes there. But actually, what I'm going to do too, for those of you watching right now, I'm going to put it in the chat so that you all can pull this up and read along with this as well. And also for those of you listening to the podcast, I'll have this in the show notes as well on my website. So, all right, where is it? Articles. Bear with me while I pull this up. So basically, all of us right now in the world we want to have healthy immune systems, right? I'll just say it that way. I don't want to flag anything on any, social media platform or anything like that, but having a good, healthy immune system is good for a lot of reasons. And what this research found is that, let's see, a keto diet triggers ketone bodies to be produced by the liver. And it turns out that those have a lot of influence on how our immune system functions. And it upregulates things in a good way that helps our immune system work much better, work the way that it should. So one of the things early on I noticed for my keto diet, so I've been doing this about 6.5 years or so, and previous to doing very low carb, I would get sick several times a year, and I would be sick for like 10 days, and I would catch, every flu that went around. And I was like always really, really sick. After myself going keto, low carb, hardly ever get sick at all. And if I get something, it's extremely mild and gone in a few days. And so we have research now to validate this, that it does actually improve immune function. So, I mean, there's a lot of really fancy terms that are in this article. It looks like for some reason it didn't post to oh no, it did go on Facebook and YouTube. We've got it. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So let me just give you the summary of it. So overall, the study found that ketones body, specifically beta hydroxybutyrate, promotes remodeling of the immune system to increase the efficiency of mitochondria. So mitochondria are our little energy factories within our cells, and also then within T cells. I read that wrong. Efficiency of mitochondria within T cells. So T cells are immune cells that come out of our thymus, and they're kind of the front line, like things that need to be activated in order for our immune system to recognize something foreign and keep it from getting out of control. And so the keto diet increased mitochondrial mass, enhanced oxidative phosphorylation. That's a good thing. And making mitochondria more efficient at generating energy. And this is part of why when people follow keto diet, they just feel like they have so much energy, more energy than they had before. And both of these conditions resulted in an increased formation of memory T cells. So memory T cells are the ones that they lie in waiting. And so if you encounter whatever foreign thing, bacteria, virus, again in the future, that they are ready and armed. It's kind of like the army's ready and they recognize the foreign invader really quickly. And so they can mount an immune response really, really fast. And it enhances a specific response, which improves immunity. So by improving cellular energetics through bolstering the mitochondria, the immune system is able to strengthen its response. Okay, so I'm trying to avoid any mentions of topics right now that get you canceled. But immune function is a good thing to support, and we have this is real research that's published showing that low carb ketogenic diet makes our immune system work better. So, any comments or questions about that?
I would just like to point out that Carol said mount. So
mount. A mount of response, yes.
Mount.
12-year-old boy in you is very thrilled.
Yeah, but I'm more mature because I didn't blurt it out at the moment. So I took
you laughed. I knew there was something that came up though because you laughed. So good news. If you'd like to be healthy and minimize being sick and have your immune system work properly, very low carb is one of the one thing that can help with that. So
go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I did a really good job at not saying anything to get flagged on anything.
Let's get flagged. What the hell?
Yeah.
Come on. Let's get those angry emotions.
Yeah.
So I'm very I wanted to say so two things. You talked about the energy thing, and that is so true. Oh my God, it's so true. And if you're just thinking, God, I'm running out of energy because I'm old, it may not just be because you're old. It may be because you're eating so many carbs. When man, I tell you what, that was one of the things that I really noticed when I remember this. In fact, this one time when I was back really very strict about low carb keto and also fasting.
Yeah.
I had more energy than I knew what to do with. Really. I mean, it was kind of unbelievable. I wanted to exercise just because I wanted to move. It was kind of like a dog. You know how dogs are just always excited to go, oh my gosh, maybe they're keto. I don't know.
Or hamsters.
Yeah. Right.
On the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing the kind of energy that comes with that. So, I mean, definitely look at that. And also, if you're one of those people that something else that will help you to not get sick is I used to have a friend that he worked in a place and he would every time there was like he would tell me, oh, the flu's going around at work, so I'm going to get sick. And I'm like, dude, don't say that because it really does make an impact on you. It really does make an impact. Stop saying you're going to get sick.
Yes. Your body will comply with whatever you repeat repeatedly.
Yeah. Yeah. Or people that say, oh yeah, every January I get the flu or I get, this. Stop saying that.
I have a strong and healthy immune system.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we've made it to the topic of the day for the podcast. So to those of you that have been keeping up with the episodes, today is part 2 of a 3-part series that I've been doing on how to lose weight and actually keep it off. And so go back and listen. If you missed last week's episode, go back and listen to that one as well. That sets the foundation of, just to recap I've been helping my clients for over 6 years now in following a keto in order to, lose weight rapidly, but also be able to make behavior change in order to stick with it long term. And so about a year or so ago, I was putting together specific content and structure for my long-term membership for my clients. So after they finished my starter 2-month program, I wanted to have something else that was going to support them long-term. So I did a lot of research on what is it that people really need in order to succeed long-term. So I saw common things within my own clients, what they did that coordinated with, that indicated that they would have long-term success. And so then I went and looked at the research and that matched as well. It's like, and then I found out why those things were so important to have in place. So again, listen to the last episode if you missed that. But so Linda's saying, yes, positive affirmations, no negative. very big in hypnosis as well. And so that's kind of like when you're saying positive affirmations, it's like self-hypnosis, right? Like you're actually programming your brain. You're telling your brain what you want it to believe and think and how you want it to act. So, so today is part 2. So I like to start out with some myths and then go into the truths and then give you some recommendations of what to do. So, the myths are all about breaking it down, making you sad and cry, make you feel hopeless. And then I come out at the end and give you some solutions. So don't worry. So some of the myths we believe, and, give me a yes in the comments or a why if these are all the things that you've maybe believed yourself in your journey of weight loss and fighting the battle of the bulge, they say. I haven't heard that one in a while, but, again, give me a yes or a why in the comments if these are things that you have believed at one point, or maybe you still believe them. Is that, well, if I just lose the weight, that will motivate me to keep it off. Another one is, well, I don't, I just need a diet to follow to lose the weight. I'll figure out what to do later. Like after I lose the weight, I'll figure out what I'm going to do after that. So I'm going to just focus on a crazy diet right now. I just need to get the weight off as fast as possible. That, I'll figure out the rest later. Another myth is I can't wait to finish my diet so that I can eat regular food again. We're getting a yes from Jim on that one. So
yes. So I can have hash browns.
Yeah, right. Right, because we tell ourselves that lie that but here's the truth, folks. I don't care if you do keto or something else. Like, basically, you have to figure out a way of eating that you can stick with the rest of your life. That's the cold hard facts, folks. There's no magic thing out there that if you just do it for 6 weeks, you get to go back to doing whatever you were doing, because whatever you're doing that's helping you not be healthy or the weight that you want, you can't ever go back to that if you want to get away from the way that it makes your body. So find a way that you can eat and live with the rest of your life and, get support with that to be able to stick with it. So
can I say something real quick? I want to say, I am envious of the way you eat. And really, if you're not following Carol, like on Instagram and stuff, follow her because she posts pictures of her food and it's amazing. I'm like over here just eating like some salami and cheese, and she's having like these gourmet meals and they look incredible all the time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. But also, Jim, a lot of time I'm just like, what I had for lunch today? 2 pieces of Swiss cheese. So there's a lot of the times that I don't take photos of stuff because it's just like so simple and boring and ugly. But you're right. Like a lot of people have this misconception and we've covered this in past episodes too, and we'll continue to talk about it. But a lot of people have the misconceptions that it's like, well, it's just butter and meat, and that can't be healthy if you don't have vegetables. And they just have these ideas of like how unhealthy it is. But you're right. If anybody looks at the foods that I POTUS, that's a wrong word. Post on Instagram. I post them a lot on my Facebook as well. That it just looks like a healthy meal, and it's beautiful. It's tasty. And I didn't realize that this maybe is one of my superpowers, but my friends have told me this, that like I can go to almost any restaurant and really quickly figure out a keto meal option from, almost any restaurant, and it's tasty and delicious. And oftentimes I'll get people that I'm dining with. They're like, wow, that looks really good. I should have got that. So, so thanks for the Instagram plug. Yeah. Keto Carol with an E on the end. Check it out.
You seem to be able to find restaurants that have all the keto options, because like those keto tacos that you keep posting and the keto pizza, I'm like, where's this at? What the hell?
In Phoenix, I gotta say, Phoenix. So I lived in Seattle for 27 years. I could make keto things happen on menus, but there wasn't any restaurant that was like especially keto friendly, right? But down in Phoenix, oh my gosh, we've got taco places that will do 100% cheese shell. Like they literally will fry cheese in a pan and that makes your taco shell. Oh my gosh. It's like, you don't need regular tacos anymore. I got to tell you, that's so much tastier than like a regular taco. The one I found the other day, it's actually right by the comedy club that I go to the most in Chandler, Improv Mania. Right behind there is this taco shop. It's called Get Yo Tacos, and like GHETT Yo. I don't know who came up with the name. Get Yo Tacos, and they on their menu they'll do a lettuce wrap taco. So instead of a taco shell, they'll do like it. I don't know if you saw that one. I had that. What day was it?
I'm not as
Monday,
excited.
maybe? Yeah. Not as excited about that one.
I'm not as excited about that one.
Okay.
I like the cheese. I like the cheese crust.
Yeah. The cheese ones definitely were tastier. But and then you're talking about the pizza too. So actually there's a couple different options. There is Lou Malnado's, which actually is I think a national chain. They started in Chicago. There's not one in Seattle that I know of, but they'll do a crust. They specialize in Chicago style deep dish pizza, which sounds like a keto nightmare.
I'm going to get that cry emoji. Where's that at?
The cry emoji, right? Is they make a crust that's 100% ground sausage. You have to, it takes 30 minutes for them to make it because it's a special thing.
Yeah.
But imagine, deep dish sausage and then, cheese and regular toppings and pepperoni on top of it. Oh my gosh. It's so decadent, delicious. I had some keto friends that are down here when I first moved here that took me there. And like they knew about it. I wouldn't have known to even ask for it too. And so I'm trying to remember what they call it, because they call it like, they don't call it low carb or keto. They just call it like I can't remember. It's on their menu or something else. But so once I had that, I was like, oh my God, this would make a great breakfast. Like, so the last time I got it, I ordered an entire one because, there's one size you can get it in. And I like one piece of it is so filling, but it makes the best, like, it's a breakfast. It's breakfast. It's sausage. It's mostly ground sausage. It's breakfast,
nice.
lunch, and dinner. And so for a single lady, like I've got leftovers for a couple of days and I'm eating high on the keto horse, keto hog, whatever. Another couple of like, so Blaze is it's kind of like mod pizza. It's kind of like that. I don't know how many locations they have for that as well, but they also have a keto crust that they have on their little individual, like a thin crust pizza. Lots and lots of options I found. There's another restaurant down here. There's a couple locations called Breakfast Kitchen Bar. So they're only open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch. And they have like a page and a half keto menu. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, I can go on. We've got a keto bakery down here and
a keto bakery too. God.
Yeah. Keto Kitchen Confections.
What am I doing here?
Look that one up. Keto Kitchen Confections. Like it's amazing. Like for my son's birthday, I ordered a tiramisu. For my birthday last year, I did cake. And for Thanksgiving, I got a pecan pie. Yeah, it's you're going to have to move back down. I know your wife won't want that, but come visit. I'll take you on a tour. Anyways, yes, lots and lots of lots of great options here. So, so let's see. I have one more myth. Back to my topic. Where was I? So one more myth here is that I don't really need long-term support. If I just lose the weight, seeing that scale keep moving, that's all the support and motivation I need. So basically all of those are lies that we tell ourselves, or that we've someplace somebody told us those that are just not true. So, the truth is that really requires a comprehensive long-term approach to be able to keep the weight off. And so I talked about last episode about the ways that our body, actually tries to regain the weight. So we're living in a time where our environment is a mismatch for the way that our biology is. So for most of human existence, food was scarce, and those who survived were the ones that were able to pack on as much weight as possible, conserve energy, and so that they could live through the times where their food wasn't abundant. Guess what? Now we live in a time where there's no famine, there's too much food everywhere, and our bodies are still trying to gain as much weight as possible to survive some upcoming, never going to happen famine. So we're a mismatch, and it actually turns out that every time you lose weight, your body compensates by making you gain more back. So all those times you felt like you failed on a diet because you lost weight and gained more back, it turns out our bodies are actually designed to do that very thing. So
Panicked.
doesn't mean it's hopeless, but that's
The
why
body
you gotta,
panicked. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It went, you
Your
lost
body
weight,
can
you gotta
actually,
get back on quick.
it increases your appetite slowly over time, and it decreases the amount of like activity your body does. It also, as you start to regain weight, it also will make more fat cells. So it makes it easier for you to get fat again. So, so you absolutely need long-term support and a comprehensive approach. So that's what I'm going to tell you more about today is the 3 keys, that you need for sustainable weight loss. So that's part 2. And then part 3, I've got, what am I talking about in part 3? Oh, part 3, I'm going to talk about next episode is going to be about the exact relapse prevention protocol that I teach my clients. So, but today, there's 3 things that, that research shows that people need. And also this is the same thing I've seen in my clients as well, is you need 3 things. So get your notepad out, write these down. You need ongoing attention. Licking the pen is so funny. Where did that even start? Like
probably 1700s, back when they were using.
Who's old enough to remember? That was always in like cartoons too, right?
My
Like
grandma always did it.
okay. Back when there was lead in pencils, you just get a little bit of lead on your tongue there. Okay. Ongoing attention. I'm going to tell you lots more about these too, but here's the 3 topics. Ongoing attention. Who doesn't like attention, right? Specific education and long-term accountability and support. So those are the 3 things that you need. So, so if you're struggling, basically, I'm going to give you a recipe. You need to figure out how to create this in your life so that you can actually combat your body trying to regain that weight. Okay. So more specifics about that ongoing education. So the first topic here, there's actually 3 things underneath this as well. And one of them is you need to monitor things. The second one is you need to have an escalation protocol. So when things are going out of hand, you got to have a plan of attack of getting things turned back around. And then you need to have relapse prevention in place. So, on a keto diet, we're trying to minimize the intake of the one macronutrient. So there's proteins, fats, and carbs. Only one of those is addictive. Nobody has a problem with, oh my God, I can't stop eating steak. I just obsess about it. I eat 10 tons of it a day. And nobody, fat by itself as well isn't a problem for anybody either. Nobody's like, oh my God, I ate 7 sticks of butter today. Somebody stop me. Like I'm a butter addict. It's only when it's mixed with carbs that those things are a problem, right? Carbs are the only macronutrient that are addictive. And so, we're living in a time where carbs are everywhere and our bodies are designed because they historically they've been very scarce or they've been very seasonal. We live in a time where we can get bananas and berries year round, even in the desert where I live where they don't grow. So we have to have these strategies in place in order to, so thinking of like relapse, because carbs are addictive, we've got to have strategy in place that help us prevent over consuming them. Things that you want to monitor. So again, under this ongoing attention category, one of those is monitoring. And so the things that I have my clients monitoring and I'm watching for my clients as well is, weight is just one of the pieces of this puzzle. Measurements of your body as well. Labs, there's very specific labs that I look at. I'm a credentialed healthcare provider. Not that I'm giving any healthcare advice on this podcast, but that's things that I'm working with my clients that I'm watching as well. As we want to make sure you're healthy on the inside as well as on the outside. Monitor your why. Like that can be a really big motivator for people. Why are you doing this? Why is this so important to you? And then your mindset as well, which something. Jim can really help with is that if you struggle with a negative mindset, that can be something that through hypnosis you can change it around and see things more optimistically as well. So keep in mind that, it's true that you can't change what you don't monitor or measure, right? So if for a lot of my clients, we end up needing to increase protein, but I need to know a baseline level of what they're eating to start with. Like if I don't know how much they're eating of anything, how do we know what to change? Also, research shows over and over and over again is that what you measure improves.
Yeah.
So when you track things, you do better. You eat better. Because you know somebody's watching, and you have to keep track of that, even if it's just you that's doing that. So, so monitoring is all of those different things, measurements, and keeping eye on things, right? So you want to. So the escalation protocol basically means that it's much easier if you're driving a ship across. You don't drive a ship. Do you drive a ship? Do you pilot a ship?
I think you pilot a ship, don't you? Yeah.
If you're piloting a massive cruise ship across the ocean, if you start to veer a little bit off a course, you make a small little course correction. That's much easier than letting the ship go all the way across and you're like, oops, we went the wrong place. Now we got to turn around and go all the way back. Small little course corrections are much easier to make your ship keep going the same way you want to, unless you just, until you wait that you've gained 50 pounds and then try to change things. So one of the things with monitoring, tracking things, is that when things are a little bit askew, you can make small little changes to what you're doing to get back on track. It's much easier to make small changes than big ones, right? And then relapse prevention, this is part of the ongoing attention as well. And again, next episode, what episode are we in right now? This is episode 23. So in episode 24, I'm going to give you my exact, the protocol that I teach my clients for relapse prevention. So stay tuned for that. Now, key number 2 that you need for sustainable weight loss, and frankly, this is not just keto. This is for any. So if anybody wants to follow, Weight Watchers or, low fat, calorie counting, vegan diet, like these are all the things that people need in order to sustain weight loss in general. So, so the number 2 key you need is specific education. And some of the things that I've found that my clients really need is, how do you combat our biology that tries to get us to regain the weight? Like, what do you do when your appetite starts to increase? Your body starts to slow down. When you feel bored with food, what are strategies that help you stay on track with that? Also, specific education about behavior change. So most of us have eaten certain things over and over and over again for decades, and you can't just immediately erase that. It takes time to change. Although sometimes with hypnosis, you can make instantaneous change. Even he's holding up the clock, folks. He's got the stereotypical pocket watch. So look away. Don't look. Oh, we just lost another viewer. You love this show and you're getting happier and happier by the moment. Let's see. So behavior change, that's one of the things that hypnosis is really great at helping with, things that you feel like why do I keep going back into these old habits? A really common one that derails people is something stressful happens in your life. And then we just go on autopilot, go back to our old carby ways.
It's just like drinkers and smokers. I mean, for some of us, it's just food was our go-to, really.
Yeah. Specific education also on cognitive restructuring, which sounds like a really fancy phrase. Basically just changing the way that you think about things. So, some of my clients really struggle with, when do I get to eat carbs again? And also just kind of feeling sorry for themselves that, gosh, poor me. I wish I could eat like everyone else and they can eat whatever they want. But the truth is that what are we up to? Like 80% of the population right now that's overweight or greater. And, the truth is that, you're lying to yourself when you think like, oh, everybody else can eat whatever they want. You can eat whatever you want as well. You just have to choose the way of eating that's going to help you reach your goals. So cognitive restructuring is just kind of changing the way that you think about things. So I see behavior change and cognitive restructuring things that you can shortcut with hypnosis, right? Like, what are some of the behavior changes that you've seen in some of your clients?
It's, you name it. I mean, I've it's like, this is one of the things that we like to say in the business. If you can think it, we can probably change it.
Okay.
We're talking smoking cessation, making better choices around food and exercise. But here's one of the things that I will say about hypnosis, and that you've mentioned this, is like that ongoing support. Is it's not necessarily a one and done type of a thing. Even like a 3 or 6 session program, which is usually recommended, is you got to get a tune up from time to time. And this is what happens is, if you don't, all these other things come up. Somebody dies or you lose a job, and you don't go back to, it's just like those people that pick up the cigarettes or whatever. I mean, you have those, like you're talking about, that kind of, that behavioral pattern that when I get stressed, this is what I do. And you can only kind of muscle through it for so long. After a while, like, I'll give you, for instance, like smoking for me, like every once in a while, I'll get a little craving. It's been 20 years. But, in the first few years, it was a lot stronger than that. I might get them, a couple times a month. But there still is that little crave. There's that little switch, and I could easily go right back to them.
So little tune-ups, spot checks, yeah.
Yeah. Or like you're talking about support, whether it's, joining a program or working with a friend or something, accountability buddy or something. I really do feel like, for not everyone, but for a lot of folks that have been overweight, especially for a long time or their whole life, it really is an addiction, just like somebody who has a alcohol addiction or a drug addiction. And it's something that, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Some people, I can have a drink, I can have a couple of beers and be fine. Some people can't. Some people have 2 and they're drinking until they're in the gutter. So we all take what we get in life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So get support where your struggles are. Yeah. And I'll just, the third one then is this long-term accountability and support, which you were just perfect segue into this. So,
yes.
So we need to have a place that we belong. We need that community and know you're not alone. So, it's still, fewer people are doing very low carb keto than there are eating whatever they want out there in the world. And when you're the only one of your friends, family that's eating this way, it's really, really hard. Like, humans are designed to copy those of us that we hang out with. And it's all virtually impossible to be the only person that you ever see or hang out with and keep sticking with this. Your brain is wired to copy those people around you. So there's mirror neurons in our brain that actually make us copy the behavior of the people that we see. And the mirror neurons connect directly to our muscles. So if you've ever been at a Mexican restaurant and you're solid with your keto, and all of a sudden you find your hand is reaching for the chip bowl, and you're like, what am I doing? I don't even want those. You're like autopilot, right? So this is, everybody else is doing it. So you're, and you might even just notice that you like keep having the urge to put your hand over there as well. And mirror neurons are really powerful. This is how humans have, designed. We're meant to be in, groups, tribes, copy the behavior of the people around us. Because you can imagine back in caveman times that if 10 people in the tribe ran away from the saber-toothed tiger, but one person was like, I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to go towards it. I'm not going to follow you guys. That person died. They didn't survive. And so the people that copied the behavior of everyone else, they actually thrived. So this is in all animals, actually. So this is how birds can fly together in a flock. They're just copying the bird in front of them or the rest of the birds around them. So this is one of the reasons why research shows, and what I've seen again in my clients, is that people that have a weekly meeting of some kind where they can see people that have the behaviors and habits that they want, they are more successful. It also goes along with something, so it's belonging, community, these mirror neuron activation. I also call it positive peer pressure, right? Yeah. So imagine going to a meeting where there's 10 people every week and everyone else is still on keto and losing weight or maintaining their weight loss. And you have to go and show up and go, I didn't do so well. Like, you're going to be like, no, I want to come to the group and be like everyone else. I want to report my success. So you're going to be more likely to stay on track because you want to be like everyone else. And you don't want to have to admit that you went off track or off plan. So, but also, that's all like the group stuff, the community support. But also it's really important to have, somebody that you can turn to when things aren't going well. Like, hey, this thing that's happening, this symptom, what's going on? So for example, one of my clients this morning on our coaching call, our group coaching call, she said, I'm starting to have issues with fatigue. And this, I'm 4 months into keto. What's going on? So troubleshooting, right? So one I recommended is that she was under eating protein. We need to make sure you're getting enough protein. And then I also referred her to Dr. Ruiz, which I haven't had him on the podcast here, but I did an interview on my YouTube with him for my members as well too. But he's a specialist in thyroid. So I told her, you need to go see him, make sure that your medication levels are right, and he's going to check some more things out, right? So you need that kind of support, that if something's going wrong, you need to have somebody that knows enough that can help you get that figured out. Accountability as well. So part of the group format helps with accountability, but also, one of my clients fell off track with tracking, and like what we've talked about, it's really essential to keep monitoring things. And so in order for her to get back on track, I said, hey, at the end of the day, let me know when you're done tracking your food. I'm going to go check your food log. And that helped her get on track for two weeks to be able to stay on track with tracking. So you need that accountability sometimes. Research shows that you need this long-term support 1 year or more. And the question I always ask is, well, if somebody says well, how long support do I need? My question is, well, how long do you want to keep the weight off? It's up to you. Yeah. So, any thoughts? I mean, the support, like you said too, can be like something's going wrong with a habit change. I need a spot check with my gym therapist, JIM therapist.
Right. Well, it's so as I'm thinking about things that clients have told me, over the years and stuff, and I think these same things too. I'm like, well, I shouldn't have to go to a support thing every week and stuff. And in an ideal world, you wouldn't. You would just be surrounded with folks that are the same way.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, you'd be hanging out with people that were, getting exercise and eating right. They weren't drinking and smoking and all these things. But, and I'll give you an example, and trigger warning in case anybody's a chocolate fiend. This is what I have in my house. I don't eat this. Good, I have a chocolate. I got potato chips. I got cracker. I mean, everything, because my wife, who's 98 pounds, can eat anything she wants. It's terribly unfair, but that's the way life is. And so, yes, it does suck, that you may need support. And like they say, birds of a feather flock together. What I oftentimes, when I'm working with any kind of client for whatever behavior it is, like even, weight loss clients or healthy eating clients. Sorry, we don't do weight loss, of course. Healthy eating clients.
Fat loss. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fat loss is, how about you start, instead of going out to eat with your eating buddy, because everybody's got their eating buddy, right?
Yeah.
I had friends that we always go to the buffet or whatever. But see if they want to go for a walk instead, or something like that, where you're not. Same thing if you're a drinker, try not to meet up for drinking. If you have a problem with it, go for a walk or go play tennis or something. These kind of things.
Yeah, great. Oh, Jim, I love that insight. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that, but I love that the fact that the only reason we need support to eat healthy is because we live in a world where everybody eats terribly unhealthy. And if we all had healthy eating habits and we lived in a world where all the food was whole food, healthy stuff that was all just good choices for us, that would be our support community and we wouldn't need it. So
well, it's funny because I actually got the idea from you when you were talking about so it was I was like, oh my God, that's true. And then because also, I mean, if you think about when we were in tribes, we all ate the same damn thing and we were moving a lot and we were hunting and gathering and we did just fine. Because that was a kind of healthy eating. You didn't need support then. You're all in the same boat. You're all doing the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, look at us, how smart we are today. We figured out.
So drop the group and go get yourself some real friends and family that don't have chocolate laying around.
Go buy an island somewhere where you have to live with your friends and be self-sufficient based on what grows there. You have to fish.
But if you can't do that, you better sign up for the group. Yeah. I'll tell you. So one of the most difficult things, and if this was more of a problem for me, I would actually take some different steps. I might ask her not to bring it into the house, because one of the things, and I know this is kind of this one turns off some of my clients because it feels uncomfortable. But what I try to tell them is, because one of the big things is, well, this is the one that drove me nuts. Well, my husband and kids, they don't need to lose weight, so they don't have to eat healthy.
Yeah.
I'm like, healthy food is healthy for everybody.
Yeah.
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 And so they're like, so I'm not going to stop them from bringing in ice cream and cookies and all this stuff. And my thing is, hey, if they want ice cream, why don't they just go out and have ice cream? So you don't have to see it. Because it's like, this is my thinking is, if you're an alcoholic and your husband came in and set a fifth of Jack Daniels on the counter every night, would that be fair? No, of course not. But you're fine with him bringing in a box of cookies or cupcakes or something. And yeah, maybe it's not fair for them to not be able to have their treats, but it's not going to kill them to keep them in there, at the office or somewhere else, or go out to eat them. Anyway.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, so two things. I have more ranting inside of me, and I try to keep it inside about how important it is to actually feed kids healthy at a very young age.
Yeah.
And just like you said, that like people are in denial that like, oh, they're kids, they should get to live free and enjoy all this stuff while they can.
That's how you learned how to eat. That's how I learned how to eat. That's how we all learned how to eat.
Yes. And kids they're growing into grown-ups, right? And guess what? What they eat as kids builds their adult body.
Yes.
And it's not like they're getting away with it when they're young and then we have to inevitably deal with it when we're older. It's because of what they ate as a child that they have to deal with it later. If you were building a house, would you, with the foundation, would you cut all the corners and be like, you know what, we'll just make the inside nice later. We'll just cut corners and pour half the foundation and, put up half the wood. I don't know how to build a house, but like, we'll only put up half the beams and things like that. We'll just use some cheap materials and later on we'll deal with making the house really nice. It's like, no, you build the foundation. So what you feed your kids, I love what you said too about like healthy foods are healthy for everybody. It's not about weight loss. It's about being, for some people they want to lose weight, but eating healthy is good for everybody. And then the other thing, one of the books that I just finished recently is Dopamine Nation by Dr. Anna Lemke. And she talked about, one of the insights I got from that book, great book, is that people that struggle with addictions later in their life, a lot of that, like there's a bunch of factors that play into why people have struggles with certain things. So, foods is one of the ones we're focusing on this podcast, but the earlier people are exposed to that in their life, the more likely they are to have challenges and addiction struggles later on. So for example, if, people that grew up in a macrobiotic household where they eat whole foods their whole life and, their whole family, their whole group of people they hang out with have these really, healthy eating habits, they don't struggle with sugar addiction and carb addiction later in life.
They don't even like it.
Weight. Yeah. They're just like, I could take it or leave it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And same thing with like cocaine. Okay. So if somebody abstained their whole life, never got exposed to it, and then maybe some random time in their adulthood, they had it once and they're just like, it doesn't really do anything for me. But if they would have started as a teen, they're more likely to have, or in their 20s, they're more likely to have that as a challenge, later on in their life. So give your kids, your grandkids, your kids the best start at life by not exposing them to these addictive substances early on because they're kids and don't have to deal with it. Like, why would you want to give them the sentence? Again, I can get really ranty, but I also try to be very accepting and not shame people. So why start them out in life with something they're going to have to deal with and struggle with the rest of their lives? It's not
going to be just as a kid that they're going to like cupcakes, right? And stuff. They're going to want that stuff forever. I remember I worked with this one guy, and he came back after a hypnosis session. He goes, Jim, I've done so good this whole past month. I have not had fast food once. He says, I've only been a few times just for the kids. And I kind of gave him a look, and he knew I was giving him a look, kind of like I try not to be, too, but I was shocked. And he was like, oh, but they're really active. And I'm just thinking, how long are they going to be that active?
Yeah.
Weren't you active when you were a kid? I mean,
if they're active, wouldn't that mean you need more healthy food?
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like if you're training an elite athlete, would you say like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what's the name of Tom Brady? Would you say Tom Brady should eat lots of McDonald's
Lots of
because he's so
McNuggets.
active? Or would you say like, oh my God, no, he's a
Yeah.
NFL player. Like we want to feed him the most healthy food possible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. I understand you don't want to alienate people, but you just want to kind of just grab them by the lapels and go, please think about it.
Wake up.
Right.
Well, it's just because we've been conditioned that like, food is how we show love. And
exactly. Yeah.
Sugar actually activates our endorphins in our body, which are the love chemical. It makes us feel so warm and drugged out that, we've been conditioned that like, well, it's just empty calories, just moderation, right? How's that moderation working for you? If I quote Dr. Phil, how's the moderation working for you? Oh my gosh.
So a little bit of poison's fine, right?
Yeah. Just moderate it. Yeah.
You know what bugs me is the people that'll go, it's just one. Just it's try this, whatever, this cupcake, this cookie. Just try one. So my new response has been for the last couple of years, I'm trying to keep my feet. So treats or feet,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Treats or feet. That's a diabetes reference for those of you. We might be offending some people today. So, oh well.
We'll get the angry reaction, maybe.
Yes. Not yet. No cries or angries yet. So
I don't want to go too much into this, but I got this friend who will post all these dessert things, and he's had a leg amputated.
Oh boy.
And from diabetes, and he posts all these, oh, look at this dessert and stuff. And I'm like, what you focus on, you get more of in life. So
yeah. Well, it's like I said a little bit ago here is that, of the 3 macronutrients, there's only one of them that's addictive, right? Like, again, nobody has a problem limiting, nobody's getting overweight or having leg amputations from too many steaks. It's the things that go with the steak that, or after the steak that are, the challenge things we have of moderation. So, well, just in summary, to wrap up this part 2 of part of 3 about how to make keto sustainable, the weight loss sustainable. Again, the things that I've seen in my most successful clients, and also the research validates this as well. Make sure you've got some kind of a weekly group meeting. We discovered together here with Jim that it's because we're missing the healthy group of people that we hang out with. So you've got to cultivate that yourself. Find a group of people that you physically see. I mean, you can see them virtually as well, but you can see them at least once a week. Participate in ongoing education. I mean, this podcast is a great thing to listen to every week to get some ongoing education. Also keep some monitoring your body and your eating, take some measurements, get some labs done, and make changes before things get out of hand. And so, come back part 3 for next episode where I'll teach you the exact relapse prevention protocol that I teach my clients. So if you're somebody who just keeps struggling with like, why do I can't stop eating the carby stuff. I mean, really, really well. So that's for you. But that is next week. I've got like 4 lines of here in our outline here, Jim, and I realized like those are all what I just said. So anyways,
awesome.
Any last words? How can people connect with you, Jim, if they want to know more about you, working with you, booking you, or
you can go to jimkellnerhypnotist.com. I'll type it in there. I also have
here, let me make a banner. Jim Kellner Hypnotist.
Yes.
.com. All right, we'll add that and I'll put that on the screen right here. Did I spell it right? Yeah.
Oops.
JimKellnerHypnotist.com.
And I also have a text line. You can text me and I will get it right to my phone. If you text me the word, I don't know, Carol with an E, I'll send you a free hypnosis download. Unlimited happiness. You'll like it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me add this one too. Do you use a community app too? Or is this a different one?
No, I use Follow Up Spark.
Okay.
I tried, what you said, you mentioned the community thing in your newsletter.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to download it or whatever. I don't know how to do it.
Well, so you don't have to have the app to be able to text me.
Oh, yeah, but we'll talk later. I'm trying
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
I thought it was some new social media platform or something that I needed to get on.
Different. So, okay. So Jim's offering you guys, this is a great deal. Free is a great deal. So, text Jim at this number here. For those of you just listening on audio, it's 480-405-0849. Text Jim the word Carol with an E, or even without an E probably will work, right?
I'll set up for both.
And
I'll pretend it has an E. Yeah.
he will reply and send you a free, what's the hypnosis?
It's called Unlimited Happiness.
All right. Very cool. Awesome. Even easier. And then you don't even have to worry about, you can go to his website or text
right.
him.
Texting really is the way now. I tell you, it's so much, like I look at mine and sometimes I can't even find the emails that I want because Gmail just puts them in my promotions folder. And I'm like, I didn't ask you. And I try to take them out of it. And I don't know. The texting works best. I think it really does.
Yes. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jim. Thank you everyone for watching, listening. So fun as always. And come back again next week. Remember, sharing is caring. So share this episode with a friend. Our catchphrase for our show here is help us grow. We'll help you shrink. And thanks again, Jim, for being here. It's been half a ton of fun. And thanks for sharing. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.